I did get the tip of the day the other day. It's like, as soon as you move here, change your plates, right? Don't have California, because otherwise, you may get too many honks or fingers going up, right? So.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle, and we've got episode 74 today, and we are excited because we've got a special guest, and our topic for today is we're going to talk about why anyone would possibly move from California to Colorado and relocate to Colorado. And so we actually have our guest today is Matias, and Matias, you found us on our Apple podcast, right?
That's correct.
Which is so cool. We appreciate you listening to us. Not everybody has that kind of tolerance to listen to us for that long, so we appreciate that. But you guys have lived in California for how long now?
We've been there for about 15 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
cool.
So,
that's a long time.
It is.
Raised a couple kids there.
3 kids. So I've got 8-year-old twins and a 12-year-old.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome. Well. And I know we've gotten in touch, and you've been so nice to reach out and talk to us about what your thoughts are. Would love to just for everybody to kind of hear about what your thought process has been as far as your desire to leave California, get to a different location, and why Colorado? I guess why did you give us a call?
All right. So a little backstory on me. So I'm originally from Argentina. Grew up in Kenya. My dad worked for the United Nations, so wow. I've had a very nomadic life. So I guess part of the hey, let's explore some other places, a little bit of cabin fever, yeah. Right? Like I can't stay still for too long. But I would say really the life hack here is having an amazing spouse and partner, because otherwise you can't really do much of these things. Both myself and my wife are big lifetime cyclists. In fact, she went to the Olympic trial, so we've traveled and visited a lot of different places. So
amazing.
As part of this kind of journey, we were thinking, we've been here for a while. She's a lifetime Californian, lived in Palm Springs for all her life, so as hot as can be, yeah. Right? So going to the other extreme. But I think when we were looking at different places, we were considering Camas, Washington, which is just north of Portland, Salt Lake City, which is kind of similar in a way from here, and Denver. And Denver happens, at least in the old days, used to be the cycling mecca. So that kind of has always been a dream of mine since I was small, right? Kind of like, oh, that's where all the pros go. That's awesome. Where all the real people, go. I'm way past my prime, but you can always live the dream, I guess.
That's great. And your wife is obviously has been way into cycling her whole life. You've done some mountain biking as well, and that's kind of a passion of yours. So I know the trails were kind of a big draw, and what else from Colorado? I get altitude training. Is that kind of?
No, I mean I think here you have a diverse kind of palette of things to do, right? Like I'll be the first one to admit that I hate the cold. I've lived in Mexico City, in Kenya. It's on the equator, right? So I think the most I've spent in cold weather was my 4 years in college in New England, right? And I said, LA sounds a lot more my speed. But I think as you grow older, you kind of, your kids are the ones that really change your life a little bit. And this, lucky enough that Nicole's parents have a place up in Park City. And so this year was the first time that we got out there to do skiing, and I couldn't get him off the mountain, right? So I was like, and then Brock actually told me another little secret that I didn't know about, that up to the 5th grade, you get free Epic passes, right? If you're through the 5th grade, which is, hey, even if it's just for 2 years, that's a life hack right there, right?
It's true though. The Epic Schools Pass, because it used to just be only 1 year, and then they made it. Now it's all the way up until your 6th grade, right?
I think 5th or 6th grade.
Yeah, so you get free skiing so it's like the Epic Local Pass equivalent, but you just get 5 days at each mountain, basically.
Oh, okay.
So it's hard to outrun that when you got 5 amazing mountains to choose from with Epic. So we did we did Beaver Creek for like a trip, and then we did, I think we didn't use Vail all of it because we don't just like driving that far,
Right,
you know.
right.
But we hit all the Keystone and Breck days most years when we did that with our kids, and it's a bummer when they get to 6th grade. You got to start paying for them and get used to this. Yeah,
That's how the state hooks you, I guess.
Totally.
Now they want you to come.
Then
all
your
the time.
kids are the ones
Yep,
telling you, let's
telling
go.
you to go.
Yep.
It's very good marketing.
I feel like I want my money back because with my kids, it was 5th grade, but that was a big deal. You still sink the habit
Yep.
in that 1 year.
Yeah, genius
Yeah.
marketing. It's true. I never thought
So
of it
see,
that way.
think about that. Colorado has these hooks that you don't even know about.
That's right,
So,
yeah.
I'm learning a lot as I'm here.
So.
That's great. Well, very cool. Well, obviously, huge benefit there, but it can't just be the cycling, right? It's got to be a little bit more than that. I know I'm so sorry to hear about all the fires in California, and you guys are right in Thousand Oaks, so you've seen a lot of that firsthand, like very close up. And so that's tough. Any other factors that kind of went into your decision to aim your sights towards Colorado?
So, I think everybody knows in California with the sunshine tax, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that comes with earthquakes, with high property taxes, with a lot of traffic. So it's kind of like, it can be overwhelming at times. But like I said, I think more so than anything, obviously everybody talks about Colorado and lifestyle. California is got, kind of a similar vibe to it. But it's just the ability. One, it's more centrally located, right? So if we want to travel somewhere, we're kind of closer to everything.
Yep.
Obviously, it's a unique layout, shall we say? I've only really been looking west of Denver, south and up north, and the closer to the mountains, because that's kind of the attraction to that.
Yeah.
But also school systems, amazing. In LA, they're good, but you have to kind of move to a certain here. Here you have a little bit more there, and it's a large enough city that for professional opportunities, there's enough there. Denver has a great airport, which is another, must for traveling, except I'll say that I hate coming in during the wintertime because there's a lot. I hate roller coasters, and that's kind of how it feels every time we land here.
Totally.
So.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And of course, it's just a little bit, I say a little bit lower. Compared to California, everything will be lower overall in terms of living expenses. But I think it's a mix of things. It's not ever going to be a perfect place, but like I said, it's part of an adventure.
Yeah.
You're not held prisoner here either, right? So
That's
you can
great.
always move.
That's awesome. Well, this isn't like a rip on California show, obviously. However, we just like to get the perspective, right? It helps. And I think that there are some great things about California. I love the coastline and just it's fun, just like how that beach vibe and stuff if you're close to it. And the weather, if you like no seasons, that's the way to go. I love it during our winter time to go out there and see the green, and it's always nice. But yeah, the seasons are pretty awesome here. And unfortunately, we invite you out here and you come and it's like 4 degrees and snowing on the day you get here. I was like, please, couldn't it be any other weather day when Matias gets in town? But it happened to be very cold. So we appreciate you having a little patience and poise as the weather changes. But this is usually the low point of the year as far as weather goes. And then it's just up and up. We get to March, April, it gets very pretty green again. And good things ahead. So
Are you in sales by chance?
maybe.
He predicts the weather.
Definitely not a weatherman, that's for sure. You don't want to try to be a Colorado weatherman, so you'll fail. But no, that's great. Well, thanks for sharing some of those insights as far as what's inspired you, and tell us a little bit about the price points, because here you're looking at 2,500 to 3,500 square feet above grade, plus a basement, potentially finished. Could be up to 45 to 5,000 square feet finished. If we can find you the right place, and parameter wise, that's in our market, that's somewhere between 900,000 to 1.1, 1.2, somewhere in there. What that same size house in California, what would you be paying over there in that area?
Well, let me put this in perspective. So, we have a single family that's about 760 square feet, and it goes for $1 million, right? So, when we do the math backwards, right, it really, you get a lot of bang for your buck. Obviously, why everybody's fit is because you got to go up and down stairs here nonstop. Well, but
You were breathing a little harder.
yeah, I am.
That's true.
Yeah, you just need to get used to it a little bit. But I do think you have in at least where we've lived, there's less of the HOAs, right? Which is also kind of a nice thing to have and something you need to get used to. And I think that's part of what's included in the price. Bless you.
Yeah.
So I think yes, you get a lot of bang for your buck. I think there's a little bit more restrictions in terms of what you could do. Like in California, it's big. We built an ADU. So you have other strategies, shall we say, to expand your living. But I think here we found, when we were joking around, it's like, I think I need 4,000 to 5,000 square feet. And yes, there's 5 of us. I have no idea what it is to live in, 5,000 square feet. What's that? That's approximately 4 times the space that we're living in. We have 4 different houses, so we definitely don't have furniture for that. So maybe an unfurnished basement is the way to go because we won't have too much of that. But it's different. But I think that it's interesting. I say that maybe the reason you have 3 different levels is for the different seasons, right? Like when it's winter, you kind of hibernate at the bottom, and then as the weather changes, you can go to a different floor. And that's how
Other
you
way
get
around. In the summer, the basement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See the out of towner right there. You called him out right there.
Yeah, heat rises. So.
That's great. So, I mean, easy to spend. You have 4,000 square foot house in California, easily $2 to $3 million.
Yes.
And especially in Thousand Oaks.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, Thousand Oaks would be
Malibu.
a little bit, add another digit to that, for sure.
That's true. On the coastline, you're probably talking 20 million. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they're hard to find in more central LA, like Torrance and Redondo Beach and Palos Verdes and stuff like that. You're not going to see houses that size. So.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Interesting. Okay.
But we do spend a lot more time outside. Like here's like one of the things that's interesting is like we're looking, how big is that yard? And then talking to my friends, they're like, we don't really spend a lot in your own yard, right? Like that's why you have your backyard is kind of like endless, right? So it's just a little bit of a different definition of what your backyard is, right?
Yeah.
So
No, that's great. Well, I'm going to throw you a couple curveballs. This is unscripted.
Okay.
Going off script.
Let's go.
What are Denver people like? Like, what do people like? Have you noticed anything about Colorado people here that were like, we don't have an accent. We already know that. But like, is there anything that you've spotted from that standpoint, from the culture?
I say one thing. Like I've learned, the key to happiness is to kind of find your tribe. And here in Denver, you can find all kinds of different tribes, right? Like I would say the cycling community or the skiing community. It's so vast. It's so large. So it doesn't matter. Like for me, for cycling, I could show up next week, throw out a few emails to people that I don't even know, but because we like wearing spandex, and we like to see each other in spandex and helmets, right? All of a sudden we'll become best friends. So I think in California, it's so bigger and different. There's a lot of different kind of likes and things. Here, it seems to be trending more to the outdoors. I'm not saying everybody's outdoors and everything, but you can find, I think, your tribe very easily, and they're very welcoming.
Yeah.
I did get the tip of the day the other day. It's like, as soon as you move here, change your plates, right? Don't have California, because otherwise, you may get too many honks or fingers going up, right? So
People think you're a bad driver or just a LeBron fan. One of the two.
I was a very bad. You saw me. I came in the storm on Saturday, and I think Landon really had to slow down when I was falling because I was having a hard time in the snow.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to take it too hard on you on the first day. We'll work you in gradually here.
Did you see anyone wearing shorts when you got in and it was 4 degrees?
At the airport.
I bet you did, right? Birkenstocks and shorts.
That's awesome. So preparations as far as because you've looked into other markets, you've done a lot of research. I know you're very good on the research part of things, and you're a very detailed person. What's that looked like? What's that process kind of been like with you and your wife deciding on this, and what does it take for you to make those steps from a relocation standpoint?
I'd say thank goodness for technology, right? And being able to, I started on the YouTube channels of what is it to live in Colorado? And I think every real estate person out there has some view, some video that they do. Then I went into podcasts, and kind of what attracted me to you guys is, one, you have consistency. You don't know how many podcasts are out there that they'll do like 4 or 5 episodes and it's done, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, okay, I tried it, I did it, right? But you guys have been consistent, and you've done a lot of different topics. I mean, I think last week was dogs, right? Like, and then, what to do during the winter or in other times for kids, right? Like things that really, as an out-of-towner, right, need to understand kind of from tribal knowledge. And I think that's what you guys really impart, is that tribal knowledge of the market. And that gives you a little bit of authority and I can trust these guys, right? So, and I'll say this one thing about when we were talking, Landon, I said, look, Denver is a big place. I don't think I can go with one agent for all of it. And you had no problem. Say, like, you want to do Boulder County? You should probably get somebody that's an expert in Boulder County, right? Here's kind of our area of expertise, and we'll look at that. So I think that's important to, find somebody that understands their expertise and not say, no, don't worry, I can do that. And I think, especially when you're coming from out of town, you really need to lean on folks, right? And understand kind of the outside of what I can read and online, but really you guys live it and breathe it every single day. So it's been great.
That's cool.
And you made us that first video, some random one that I sent him, and he's like, oh, let me get there. And next thing I know, I get this full video, and he's giving all the ins and outs. And it was like, wow, that's awesome.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, we get that assumable. Yeah. So, no, it's been awesome to get to know you, and we're excited to get to know your wife and kids as well. But it's just cool for, I think, our listeners to hear, the experience, whether you're coming from California or Iowa, Oklahoma, any place in the country or in the world. It's you have to have that hyper local knowledge, right? And you've done a great job of asking not just about like Denver in general, but about like, what about this specific area in Highlands Ranch, like particularly, like what's the difference between living there and living in this spot? So I think you've asked great questions, and it's made it easy for us to, give you the stuff that we know because we live here, and we, it's kind of, like you said, tribal knowledge. I love that term. I think that's great.
And I think you guys made it easy because in going through your podcast, even just the topics, right? So I didn't have to listen from 1 to 60, although I did. Yeah. I have, because I had a lot of cycling that I did. But it went through all of the different topics. So, right before we're going here, I was like, going to the Highlands Ranch one and kind of put it on my wife's podcast, right? So it's just like, she only has to listen to that part to get excited, or the one on the kids, right? Great, so I think that really is great because and I think if you guys, some other folks that are coming from out of state, is like maybe recommend which one of those podcasts, they can do, because it's,
that's
like I said, in the beginning, it's really about having an amazing spouse and partner, because you're not going to do this alone, right? And so if I can fold her in and get her into the right mindset of it, and I'm not saying that it's my idea or her idea, it has to be kind of together. So
make those decisions together. And it's just such a process of elimination as far as location goes, right? But then it's just information building until you feel confident enough where you can take that leap of faith. So we understand how that goes. So that's awesome. Well, great. Man, any other questions for Matias, you guys?
What's better, road or mountain? We're going to start the debate. Go real rough there.
Back to the biking, the most important thing.
Skinny tires and spandex.
There you go. Lycra, it's the outfit of the superheroes, right?
It's until you get you get older and slower, and then mountain bike is great.
So you can't bike 12 months a year here. You know that, right?
You can.
All right.
Actually, you can. I've mountain biked every month.
Your shorts and your
right.
The question is, do you have a stationary or do you have a Peloton?
Well, that's the thing that I've been just imagining on this basement. It's like, wow, this is my man cave, right down there. So that's definitely the other plus. We don't have room for that. But I'll say it's like in California, it gets to like 50 or 60. I'm like, I can't go outside. And here I'm like, it's 20 degrees and everyone's out there with their dogs and everything. So I guess I have a lot of toughening up to do.
We were looking at we're going from the first house to the second house that we looked at, and we see this guy in a full beard, like down to his chest. I mean, big old beard, white beard, full of snow, and he's running with his German Shepherd. Did he have one or two dogs?
Just one.
Yeah, just one dog. Yeah. And he's just like huffing and puffing, but he was going fast pace. I bet he was going 7-minute miles uphill, up Highlands Ranch Parkway. Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
It was impressive. I called Matias just to say, did you see that guy?
I was trying to get a picture, like, hey, to send to my wife. Look, this could be you.
He's got his camera out. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. That's awesome.
The word during his off season, doing trains here. I'd say, what are you most excited about coming from LA to Colorado?
I think it's just the adventure, right? Like everything is new, right? So it will be, relearning a lot of things, meeting a whole bunch of new people, being made fun as I try to ski, right? And, I just think in general, it just seems like a happier state. But, that might be all the weed. I'm not sure.
We started that off in 2015. Yeah. Well, if the skis don't work, just take them back. We'll get another pair of skis. They'll work better. That's the result. That's awesome. What advice would you give to other people that are relocating to Colorado? Or just in general for relocation?
I think you have to do a little bit of your own work because I don't think it's fair to just say, hey, we're just looking for, and here's my book of list of things that I want, right? Like that could be a lot of different places. And I think that, I've spent 3 days now just driving around, looking at areas, not necessarily going in, seeing the different houses. You can kind of get a feel, but you really do get an idea of what it is. And I'm not saying everybody has that ability, but there's so much technology out there, so many different ways. You can listen to podcasts or YouTubes about a particular, like Highland Ranch, right? And everybody's going to have a different perspective. So just get yourself informed so that Landon and their team can really be a lot more, I would say, not quicker, but smarter and get you closer to where you want to be as opposed to driving around a lot and kind of spinning the wheels, because it can be frustrating for both sides. You guys don't get paid until the house sells. So, it's a lot of free work, right? But if at least there's some type of strategy around it, then I think you get there a lot quicker, and I think everybody will be happier because everybody's invested in the process, as opposed to just like pretty pictures, right? There's a lot outside of those pretty pictures because, yes, we all live in our houses, but we still have to go to the store, we still have to take our kids to school, we still have to do other things. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's good insight. And I think because what I was thinking while you were saying that was just that all the research that you've done, because you've really investigated into this. Like, I think the place that you guys end up in, you're gonna be super happy in, compared to other people that may just have a very surface level type of research, and then they get here and they just buy kind of the first thing that enamors them as far as the upgrades goes or something like that, and then they end up not liking the location as much or something to that effect. So I think the research that you've done has been awesome, and you could almost write a book on how to relocate successfully, just with what you've done so far. So we appreciate that we're a part of that, though. That's awesome.
Well, I heard that you have a money back guarantee. If we don't like the house, you just buy it back from me. So that's really what
episode was that?
What podcast was this? Oh, wait, that was somebody else. Wait, sorry.
Well, we love, just for our own enjoyment, hearing like the episodes that you've really had fun with or appreciated. Were there any like lines in the episode particularly that you remember that you were like, oh man, I remember that? Or Spencer talked about spandex and tight-fitting clothes.
Yes, I think he did. I do remember that because I was a little bit offended on that one.
Because he said he was a mountain biker that wore spandex.
Yeah, mountain bikers don't. No, I do say that you guys have done one. Obviously, with podcasts, you have to keep it short, right? Like to the point. but you always have a direction you're going, right? Like you find some podcasts, you start going and they just go off on some tangent and you're not even, where you need to be. It's like, okay, I've had enough.
Does that make you turn your bike and go off the road a little bit?
No, it just makes me skip. No, like I said, I think you guys have a wealth of knowledge and you have all that documented. So I do think you guys should try to recycle that. I do think the videos, right, that you said, sometimes when you guys are seeing or showing that the other day I put you on Facebook, right, or my wife to kind of go through it. It is helpful to kind of, as you guys look at houses, that maybe you just do a quick overview of it. I know it's, not everybody likes to talk on video and not everybody's great at it. I'm number one, right? I'm a salesperson, but I hate speaking in big crowds and everything else, right? It's an acquired taste. But I think that's, especially when you're not from here, right? Yeah. It's that tribal knowledge and it really gives you that authenticity that you guys are the experts, right? Because I don't know how many agents there are in state of, it's just in Denver in general, right? So what really puts you guys apart? At least you have something that you can, hey, listen to this, right? Like, okay, that gives me, hey, these guys are legit, right?
Well, that's a great insight on how much video played a part in you like learning and understanding the process, and because you can hear things, right? And you mostly listen to us for the most part while you're on your bike. But how long before, like as you were listening to us, how long before you knew that we had a YouTube segment to this?
Well, it took I've been researching for 6 months. That's not saying that I'm doing that, but you're doing a whole bunch of other things. And as I started narrowing down, I wanted to figure out who were the right people to work with, right? And then so I took a little sub-segment. And like I said, the first thing for me that was a big turn off is like when they do like 3 or 4 episodes and then they disappear. I'm like, okay, you're not really vested. And not that has to be good or bad, right? But if I'm going to learn about somebody, and I had probably about 6 different interviews, with different agents. So it's not like, hey, hi, and I went with you. It was just kind of obviously having some type of, and of course your wife is from Barcelona, so I had to go.
Whoa, Madrid.
Oh, she's Madrid. Okay.
I hope she's not listening right now.
Oops.
On the topic of controversy, as a listener, have you seen the episode with the filet-o-fish debate?
Was that with the Wahoo? And no. I know there were filet fish. There was.
It was a big debate, and I'll speak up because Spencer's not here. But Landon is a big fan of the filet-o-fish.
At McDonald's.
The rest of us were really getting on him for being a fan.
Hold on, if you're gonna go to McDonald's and you're trying to eat healthy, what else are you gonna get besides the filet-o-fish?
There's no way that's healthy.
It's got to be the healthiest thing on their menu. Water. That's a good answer. They took away the grilled chicken sandwich. Everything
but
is
what
crispy.
was the other thing that you guys did? Because it was now that you said it, I remember it was McDonald's. I was like, that's why it must be that I like it because he's got the same taste as my kids.
We will be buddies.
That sophisticated palate. Yeah. I don't know if that's I'm gonna have to talk to your wife about that.
Hey, Michael Scott from The Office loved the filet-o-fish. I mean, there's the great ones. I'll love the filet-o-fish.
Wait, and then wasn't that same one that was about sushi? That you hadn't tried.
It might have been in our restaurants.
We transitioned from sushi to filet-o-fish. Obviously, I was not here for that one. Yeah.
We really downgraded the material. Yeah.
So now we're getting off topic. What I said you guys shouldn't do in these podcasts.
Jackson is so good at that. It's amazing. That's his job, which keeps it interesting, which is good. But the last question: do you remember what you typed on Apple Podcasts to find us?
I just put Denver real estate, and it was just a broad piece of topic. And I went back, like 2019, everybody had a podcast, and then it kind of started disappearing as it went through. So I wanted something that was more recent, right? So that's how I kind of sift through that. But I have to tell you, I probably everything that had real estate on it for Denver, I think I heard.
Denver real estate.
So,
okay.
But yours definitely.
That is a lot of riding your bike.
Yeah.
Yep.
You trying to keep up with your wife or catch up to her?
Exactly. I'm just the groupie.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyone have a family member that we think has watched more than Matias?
I don't
Definitely
know
not
about
mine.
Family member. I know Kristen has seen every single episode.
Yeah.
She edits them.
She goes in and does the timeline on them and stuff. She's just, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
I-
so I have to admit, I didn't watch so much of YouTube. It's more the podcast because it's easier to just kind of be on the go. But now I'm always like looking forward, like, oh, when's the next one gonna drop?
That's awesome.
So
That's cool. Well, we really appreciate you, you watching, listening, and for the opportunity to help you here. And we're only halfway through, right? So, and not even. So I would say this would be fun to do if you're open to it. After you guys, get a house, close on a place, maybe we'll do a follow-up episode in the future and just ask about how the rest of the experience went and that sort of thing, so that our viewers can learn a little bit more, and listeners as well. So
Very cool.
awesome. All right. Any closing thoughts?
I would say if you're looking, and this is not an advertisement, it really does help to have boots on the ground, right? Like somebody is not just going to tell you, yeah, all these great places are great. Why are they great? Or why is this place not great? Like when I look at a house, yes, I try not to be emotional. Everyone's going to be emotional, but we've got some investment property, so we look at it more for the long term. So if it's an ugly kitchen, it can be fixed, right? The flow of some of these places, I don't know what they were smoking in the 80s, but I don't know how much you can actually fix that. But I think that's why it's important, because there's different, I would say, vintages within all the neighborhoods in Colorado. And I think it's great to have a guide that can tell you, hey, look, if you're looking for this is kind of where you need to be focused. Because otherwise you start looking at houses, and you can't tell one from the other, right? It's just one big blur. So, I would say do your homework ahead of time if you can. Really have a few interviews, right? Don't just go with somebody just because they referred you, right? Yeah. What makes them the market expert? And from there, it's like somebody who'll take the time. And I know I bug you a lot on text and Brock. Now that he's tagged you, now he knows what.
We're all good.
But I think so far it's been a great working relationship, and that's what we want is a partner.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. That's awesome. Well, no, we love it. We love the questions, and like I said, you could write a book on it. You're a very strategic buyer, as far as what you're looking for, and it's just we love working with just educated, very sharp people like you. So thank you for that, and we appreciate our listeners. Thank you for listening and tuning in with us today. And it's been fun to visit with Matias here. If you have had thoughts, and you're living out of state and you're thinking about moving to Colorado, we'd love to help you here. And we are the Dreamsmith team. We're licensed realtors here in the South Denver metro area. So anything we can do for you here, you've got all of our contact information below. And remember to subscribe to our channel so that you can hear more episodes like this. Thanks for listening. So if you have enjoyed what you're listening to and you'd like to hear more, make sure to press that subscribe button so that you can not miss out on any more episodes that are coming up. And also check out all of our contact information is below. You can see us at the dreamsmithteam.com to look up more information about our team and our history and all of the members of our team, and see contact information that you can reach us if you have any real estate needs.
See you next time.